Hi folks, it's Chris again. It's lunchtime, which means we're back playing Sixx. So, just going over the notes from episode 1. Firstly, thanks for everyone on Reddit that's kind of left a comment. If you want to like and subscribe on the YouTube, that would be great. But yeah, successful first session, I reckon. I'm going to recap just the quick world setup that we did, which was that the realms are aware of each other and they're not on peaceful terms or in active combat. And we met Delnar the Mage that was what's known as a realm walker, and these are going to be our player characters that infiltrate other realms or their own realms to sort of collect artifacts or items of importance. We didn't delve too much into what they were. Yeah, so we have our world set up. It's not a very happy world, but it's the world we're in. Very similar to our own, might I add. And we've left Delnar and a couple of NPCs as they exited a fortress with some information that linked them to the cyberpunk realm. And then we're going to potentially head in that direction. But the thing with Sixx is it's also individual games, so you can link them up in a narrative, but we may not come back to them for months if we don't roll up another fantasy setting with a mage, or if we don't roll up a mage in a cyberpunk world. We may never see them again. That might be a loose end that will never get tied up, but let's see. Anyway, for today I'm going old school, got pencil, pen and my rule book, and of course my trusty 1d6 dice. So let's get started with the first 6 rolls as usual, which are the setting. That's a 3, so we are back in fantasy. Okay, so that's interesting. So straight away we're back in Delnor's realm. Who knows, we may even roll up a mage. And this is now onto our next roll, which is, who is our hero? And we've rolled 6, which is a healer. So we've got a cleric. Clerics are interesting in that they can heal themselves or other party members by spending one of their gold to recover a hit point. So that's their special ability. And what's our cleric going to be doing? That's a 2, which is to remove or kill some monsters. So, we're a cleric in the fantasy realm who needs to remove some monsters. So the last couple of rolls are his health. He's on 5 HP. And his gold. So 3 gold points. 3 gold, 5 health. I think we'll be alright. So let's give this guy a name. So let's go for Lorne, the cleric. Brother Lorne, if you will. And yeah, we need to get some more background information on this. So using the oracles. Is the cleric involved with Delnar? That is a 3, which is a no but. No buts. I would say no buts. They are aware of each other. Okay, so if he's not linked to Delnar directly, does he work for the same group, or is he a competitive group? So is he working in the same group? 2, no. So competition, or possibly is this guy a realm walker, or is he just someone that cleans up after their mess? So is Lorne a realm walker? 3, no buts. No buts. I reckon he's hired by him. I reckon this is a guy that gets his gold by travelling with other people to other places, which gives us a handy link. So he doesn't know Delnar, but maybe he's going to get hired by Delnar to help. I like that idea. So that's going to tie the two, handily, the first two episodes together. So Delnar wanted information, which he got, that told him he needs to head to the cyberpunk realm. But he was pretty beat up at the end of the last episode, if I remember correctly. Which means he's going to have sought the help of Lorne. But Lorne is in his own predicament. He is currently somewhere, and he is fighting his way out. Maybe he is travelling just generally, and it's dangerous terrain he's travelling across. And maybe the cyberpunk realm's gateway, if you will, is guarded, which seems sensible. These, they are all fighting each other, infighting and stuff. So yeah, let's say that. Let's say Lorne and Delnar have teamed up. They've ditched the NPCs at the nearest village, and they've continued on towards the cyberpunk gateway. So let's roll and see if A, they know exactly where it is, and B, whether it's heavily fortified, heavily guarded, or if this is just going to be like a skirmish thing that they have to kind of overcome. So first of all, do they know exactly where it is? They did have information, so we'll lean into that. So it's a no but. So no but. I'd say no but they know the vicinity. So it's in somewhere that's guarded, but they don't know where exactly it is once they get there. Which means they could gain the help of some NPCs maybe. Or yeah, probably they'll just stumble across it. We'll probably cover it as a secret that they unfold if that happens. So, Delnar and Lorne are heading into this place. Is this a fortress? Is it indoors? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, it's a fortress. So yes, and I would say that because the realms are all linked and all have their own identities, it's very obvious, this thing. Everyone knows it's there, but because of the conflicts, they all tend to avoid each other. So I'd say in this kind of verdant green high fantasy realm, there is a, let's call it like a Borg-like cube sat on the outskirts that just, it's barren beyond it, and they've sort of come to the edge of this forest, and they're looking across at this like just kind of no man's land that they're going to have to try and traverse to get in. And let's give it a name, kind of cyberpunky, kind of the Cubid Gate. Yeah, let's go with that, the Cubid Gate. So, headed to the Cubid Gate. Got health, got gold. Let's roll our first room. I'd say, have they found a sneaky way in, or are they barging the front doors? So have they found, using the information they were given, a side access? No, and I'd say The no and is this thing is like just locked up. It's just one door in, one door out. Is there a guard on the door? Yes or no? No. So there's no guard currently on the door. So, no guard on the door, which makes me think it's locked or being surveyed somehow. So yeah, they approach cautiously. And does the door open automatically? Or is the door locked? Is the door locked? Yes. Obviously the door's locked. So I'm going to treat this as a trap roll, which neither of them are very good at. But I'm going to say it is, you know, the usual thing. It's either booby trapped or that sort of thing if they fail. But yeah, they're rolling to open the door with the sort of combat mechanics. Sixx, straight six. I would say the information they were given was not only the location, but an access card, so they can move in and out. That's the information they got from, what's her name in the first episode? I can't remember her name, terrible names. So, they're in. Let's roll. Our first corridor, which is a 1. It's a straight corridor. That's fine. They're moving along quietly. And I would say this is very, it's cyberpunk. It's steel plating, digital screens. It's completely alien to these two intrepid adventurers of yore in their sort of robes and traditional garb. So yeah, next roll is a 4. So we now have a T-junction. Left or right. They have no... Does the information give them any idea where the portal is inside? Or any vague idea? So, Oracle roll, yes. I'd say it's a rough, incomplete map. So, there are like a bunch of question marks on this map of rooms it could be in. And I'm going to say that the loot roll in this instance, now loot when I play is either gold or an artifact. And in this case, I think that artifact would be what they're looking for. So let's go. T-junction into T-junction. This makes sense. It's all square. So they kind of look both ways, and it's just more branching corridors. But they have a vague idea which way they're going. So are we going left or right? 1 to 3, 4 to 6. 1. Taking the left branch into a second T-junction, which will be left or right. 1 again, so left. So almost doubling back on themselves, but say this is like kind of lots of integrated crisscrossing corridors. It's almost like laid out like a kind of computer circuit board, like everything's straight lines and yeah. And that was our third corridor roll, which means that roll I just did would be our room because it's endless corridors. So I would say it's going to be a small room because it was 2 with a single event. So our event, would you believe it, is a 6, which is exactly what we're looking for. Loot. We found the portal already. Of course we have. However, Lorne's mission was to remove. So I think he has a secondary mission to Delnar's. So he's going to deposit Delnar at said portal. And I'm going to assume this thing is fairly obvious when it kicks up and starts, which means Lorne's going to have to now fight off anyone that comes in. So Lorne's going to say that he's going to carry on while down our escapes, and he's going to clear the area. Because it's a remove, it's either 3 to 5 monsters normally. I'm going to call it 3. And I'm going to say this is an outpost, so yeah, there's only 3 guards. And Lorne's going to incapacitate them. I'd say because he's a cleric, he probably wouldn't kill by choice. So he's going to incapacitate them to the point where he can't be followed. Cool. So down are safely delivered, a lot easier than we expected. Yeah, Lorne's going to carry on. 5 into a secondary small room. And in this room, would you believe is another 6? I'll say it's another portal. I'll say Downar needs to figure out which one. I imagine this a bit like a Stargate situation, where there are different codes and portals to reach different realms. Do they know which portal they need to use? Yes or no? Yes, but it's not 100% guaranteed. The code will only work in a portal, but they don't know which one. So it's going to take time, which is why Lorne is going to go and fight to buy them time. Okay, that makes sense. Let's continue. That's a 1. So that's corridor. So Lorne's now adventuring off alone, probably questioning his ethics and moral choices, but there we are. So he's going to continue off into the dark and find a small room. And I swear to God, if this is another bloody portal. So we kind of want anything but a 6, ironically. It's a 5. He finds an NPC. Is this a prisoner? Is this friend or foe? Friend. 1 to 3 friend. I rolled a 3. Is this a friend? A captive, shall we say? Yeah, someone who's captured, and Lorne is now going to try and help them escape, but he's going to kind of try and ask them to help him first. So, will the NPC assist Lorne? Yes. Who is this NPC? I'm going to give them a class using our rolls. I'm also going to roll a setting for them. I'm going to see if they're... is this person from this setting, yes or no? No. Right, in that case. No and. So no and means maybe they are antagonistic to a point. So where are they from? From sci-fi. So that's interesting. The cyberpunk and sci-fi, I imagine, would align themselves. So maybe they are aligned, but this is a sci-fi realm walker who kind of understands what they're doing, knows where they're coming from, is just out to play their own game, and is just trying to get out. So Lorne says that he will help them escape back to their portal if they help him dispatch any guards that are left locally. So what is this person's class? Class is, that's a 4, they're a thief. Makes perfect sense. So they're going to be good at traps, which is helpful. They get +1 on trap rolls, so they agree to divvy up the work. And let's see our thief. Thief sci-fi. It's called Jax. So Jax and Lorne, or Lord and Jax, heading off back into Cubid. That's 3, so it's a right turn. That's a 4, another T-junction. As I say, this is all lots of windy, wiggly corridors, so they left or right. That's a 4, which means they're going right this time. And that's a 2 into a left-hand turn. And we're now going to roll for room, which are 5, another small room. I'm imagining this is like a lots of little small office cube spaces. Yeah, so T-junction, right turn, small room, single event. Please be a guard. It's another portal. Of course it's another portal. Of course I keep rolling 6s. This is the one Jax was looking for. This is... this complicates things. And Lorne has no way of telling Delnar. And this is why there were lots of question marks on the map of where they need to go, because there's lots of bloody portals in here. Who knew? Let's say there's 5. There's 1 for each other realm. Maybe 6, 1 to go home. We've already found 3. Do these portals have any discerning features to identify where they're from? So, any identifying features, yes or no? No, of course not. They're just giving like blank digital big digital screens, aren't they? Never mind. Okay, so we found another portal. Jax doesn't remember coming through this one, maybe. Does Jax remember coming through this one, yes or no? He does remember coming through this one. So he's going to go for a bit. Going home. Of course he is. Leaving us high and dry. Leaving Lorne to carry on, scouting out the area. Maybe just trying to build a clearer picture of the map for future reference. Yeah.